As a young citizen of India, armed with technology, knowledge and love for my nation, with a vision of transforming India into a developed nation, I am joining Shobhit University. What about you?
Very good morning to all the participants from India and abroad. Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology Meerut, Team to be University, and its Centers of Excellence, Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, and Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies, extend greetings to all the participants from India and abroad who are attending today's national webinar series on doubling farmers' income by 2022, Atmanirbhar Bharat in Agriculture. This webinar series is being hosted on every Thursday at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Today is 19th August 2021. Exactly on 18th August 2020, we started this webinar series, which was launched by the Dr. Ashok Dalwai, IAS, the chairman of the Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022 committee, and also the keynote address from His Excellency Secretary General, African Asian Rural Development Organization, and the Regional Director of International Cooperation Alliance, Regional Director Asia Pacific, in Delhi. And today is the 41st edition of this webinar series. This webinar is on the topic, very important topic, with a strong emphasis, supporting of farmers for marketing will only help doubling of income by 2022. He is very strong in his assertion. Our guest speaker is very strong in his assertion that supporting of farmers for marketing will only help our farmers to increase their income by 2022. No other way than what to do. On behalf of the Honorable Chancellor, Honorable Vice Chancellor, the faculty members of the university, and on my behalf, and as Professor Emeritus and Chairman of the Centers of Excellence, Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, and Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies, welcome today's guest speaker, Professor M.B. Ashok, Senior Advisor, BAIF Research and Development Foundation, Pune, Visiting Professor of College of Postgraduate Studies, Shillong, Central Agriculture University, Imphal, and former Chief General Manager, NABARD, Mumbai. For the benefits of the participants and also guest speaker, so far, under this webinar series, the university has organized 40 webinars on the topics, namely, role of agricultural cooperatives and e-governance, blockchain technology-based fishery value chain, a self-contained village, a felt need of the day, spices informatics network value chain, lantana camera, a camouflaged treasure trove, smart hill agriculture, a displaced hill agriculture value system, Mera mobile, Mera marketing, integrated mariculture, aquaponics, and precision agriculture, MAPA biofarms for income revolution, smart tribal agriculture, optimizing value chain, digital agritech and industry perspective, land resources information system in India, present and road ahead, weather decision technologies for increasing farm income, big data in smart farming, sustainable soil and land management for climate smart agriculture, sustainable soil and land management for climate smart agriculture, understanding market dynamics for increasing farm income, role of technologies in mitigating crop risk, how to generate additional profit via simple, attractive approaches in farm produce, how adoption of flexi rubber check dam technology, potential benefit for farmers in rain-fed and coastal agro ecosystems. Realizing the economic benefits of agroforestry, Actosol organic humic solutions for increasing crop yields and quality while increasing farm income and improving soil health. Closing the nutrient loop, phosphorus management in protein farming, improving nutrient use efficiency and farm productivity. Artificial intelligence enabled pest management technology for agriculture crop protection without pesticides. Empowering farmers through extension, knowledge dissemination, role of mass media, smart poultry monitoring solutions, agrobiodiversity, intellectual property laws, agriculture and farmers' welfare, and insight into the issues for India's agrarian economy, manufacture and application of biochar for increased soil fertility and crop productivity, sustainable integration of livestock with agriculture for farm income increase, role of geographical indications on improving farmers' income, lessons from Asia and Pacific region, dairy informatics network value chain, a dairy tech startup perspective for farmers' income increase, spices informatics network value chain, a turmeric startup perspective for farmers' income increase, generating sustainable on-farm income through fintech interventions, nutrition sensitive agriculture, pathway for increasing farmer income, artificial intelligence and data analytics to ensure optimal nutrition in the soil, harvested food that minimizes human disease, bioenergy supply chain, a business opportunity for rural enterprises and farmer produce organizations, tech enabling India's tech star farmers for manifold increase in productivity and income, open insurance ecosystem for agriculture producers, risk management solutions to overcome repercussions on farmers' income, market stability, and food safety. Role of mass media for farmers' income increase, a case study from Green TV. AgStack, agricultural stack, open source digital infrastructure for the agriculture ecosystem, a Linux Foundation project. Circular economy towards resilience, urgent need for redefining raw materials and modified waste management policies and regulations. Agritech, a new horizon in Indian agriculture. Today is the 41st edition of this national webinar series, which will be addressed by Professor M.B. Ashok, Senior Advisor, BAIF Research and Development Foundation, Pune, and Visiting Professor, College of Postgraduate Studies, Shillong, a Central Agricultural University located at Imphal, and former General Manager, NABARD, Mumbai. On the very important topic, supporting of farmers for marketing will only help doubling of income by 2022. Dear participants, look at the keywords: supporting farmers for marketing, and doubling income by 2022. I decided to inform the speaker and the participants. The university has organized the following webinars in numbers 16 related to pathways for farmers' income increase. Out of 40 webinars which we conducted, 17 are related to the pathways for farmers' income increase, in synchronization with the theme of the webinar series, doubling farmers' income by 2022. On 23rd September 2020, a talk on blockchain technology-based fisheries value chain. On 19th November 2020, integrated mariculture, aquaponics, precision agriculture, MAPA biofarms for income revolution. On 1st December, a talk on smart tribal agriculture, optimizing value chain. On 7th January 2021, understanding market dynamics for increasing farm income. On 21st January, a talk on how to generate additional profit via simple, attractive approaches in farm produce. On 13th May 2021, a talk on sustainable integration of livestock with agriculture and farm income increase. On 20th May 2021, a talk on role of geographical indication for improving farmers' income lessons from Asia Pacific region. On 27th May, talk on dairy informatics network value chain, a dairy tech startup perspective for farmers' income increase. On 3rd June, a talk on spices informatic network value chain, a turmeric startup perspective for farmers' income increase. On 10th June, generating sustainable on-farm income through fintech intervention. On 1st July, bioenergy supply chain, a business opportunity for rural enterprises and farmer produce organization. On 8th July 2021, talk on tech enabling India's tech star farmers for manifold increase in productivity and income. 15th July, talk on open insurance ecosystem for agriculture producers, risk management solutions to overcome repercussions on farmer income, market stability, and food safety. On 5th August, I talk on circular bioeconomy towards resilience. And on 12th December 2020, in the international webinar series on open source digital technologies toward self-reliant India, now we had a talk on ensuring food safety and compliance through technology. And 13th February 2021, talk on leveraging emerging technologies for ensuring transparent and traceable agri and food supply chain. Dear participants, agriculture sector is the foundation of the Indian economy. It employs more than 50% of the India's workforce and contributes almost 17 to 18% of its GDP. At present, agricultural livelihoods are being severely impacted world over as a result of anthropogenic global warming and climate change. India's labor-intensive and subsistence-based agriculture sector is particularly vulnerable to this development. Climate change has both direct and indirect effects on agriculture productivity, including changing rainfall patterns, severe drought, flooding, and changes in the geographical redistribution of pests and diseases. Indian farming community comprises of about 14 crores farmers, of which 85% of the farmers have small and marginal size operational holdings. Farmer needs timely, location specific, and personalized information for effective control on their production, risk, and then market their produce to identified market opportunities. Many national level programs, be it Digital India, Make in India, Skill India, Startup India, and Stand Up India have faced operational difficulties for its impact at farm level and farmer level, that too at small and marginal farmers. In this regard, I would like to quote this statement made by the Honorable Prime Minister's made during this, Independence Day address of our Honorable Prime Minister on 15th August 2021. He said, Chota Kisan Bane Desh ki Shaan. Small farmer become the pride of the nation. This is our dream. In the coming years, we will have to increase the collective power of the small farmers of the country. We have to give them new facilities. They must become the country's pride. I am very happy because the statement which I made earlier, that many national level programs, Digital India, Make in India, Skill India, Startup India, and Stand Up India, announced in during 2015, have faced operational difficulties for its impact at farm level and farmer level, that too at small and marginal farmers. This I have been making, giving, importance and in, bolder letters, during the last, 6 years. And today I am very happy to quote the statement of our Honorable Prime Minister from his Independence Day speech, that he said it, that the Chota Kisan, the small and marginal farmers, are the pride of the nation. So we have to increase collective power for the small farmers of the country. We have to give them the new facilities, and they must become the country's pride. Our salute to the Honorable Prime Minister. Reforms towards digitalization of the agricultural system. The Government of India, through its National Informatics Center, have prepared IT blueprint for agriculture. Through a national conference on informatics for sustainable agriculture development ISDA 95 in May 1995, I was instrumental. And in 2005, launched the National E-Governance Program in Agriculture, NEGPA, Volume 3, Volume 4, Volume 11, Volume 12B of the Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022, Report 2018 of the Government of India, have suggested reforms measures for income rise through digitalization of farming sector. Volume 3, titled Post-Production Agri-Logistic. Post-Production Agri-Logistic, Maximizing Gains for Farmer. Volume 4, Post-Production Interventions, Agriculture Marketing. Volume 11, Empowering the Farmers through Extension and Knowledge Dissemination. And Volume 12B, Digital Technology in Agriculture, with the intent to achieve efficiency gains and convert into profitability from farm to fork. Agriculture logistic is the backbone of agribusiness, and agriculture marketing is the brain behind value realization. Agriculture logistic is the backbone of agribusiness, and agriculture marketing is the brain behind value realization. Farmers' produce must connect with multiple avenues to obtain value at each place, across time and space, and in various forms. The Volume 12B has suggested strategic use of digital technology in farming system life cycle through 7 mission mode programs, as detailed in Chapter 10. I will read it out, the 7 mission mode programs. Digitalized agriculture, digital technology and innovation in agriculture, Digital India, Make in India, Skill India, Startup India programs for transformational reforms in agriculture sector in 3 categories: smart irrigated farming, smart rainfed farming, and smart tribal farming. Each one has got its own characteristic, which needs, you have to have a different agriculture policy for these 3 sectors. Second, digitalized agromet advisories and agricultural risk management solutions. Third, digitalized agricultural resources information system and micro-level planning for achieving smart village and smart farming. Digitalized value chain for about 400 agricultural commodities. We have 365 days of sunshine, 127 agroclimatic zones, and we grow more than 400 agricultural commodities. And we don't have a meaningful digitalized agriculture value system and value chain, both input as well as output. Digitalized access to inputs, technology, knowledge, skill, agricultural finance, credit, marketing, and agribusiness management to farmers. Digitalized integrated land and water management system per drop, more crop, and digitalized farm health management for reduction of farmers' losses. This includes farmer health, plant health, animal health, soil health, water health, and fish health, fishery system health. And this 7 measurable project will make total digitalization of Indian agricultural system. And unfortunately, this report is submitted in the month of September 2018. I don't see any follow-up action from the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers' Welfare. I was not even called for a single meeting. Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022, Report 2018, in its Volume 11, Section 3.2.5, suggests that Volume 11, Section 3.2.5 suggests that the need for development of a network of cooperative societies, CoopNet, and automation of each cooperative society, e-cooperatives, to facilitate governance and operational efficiency in the cooperative sector is good for rural India. We got more than 1 lakh primary agriculture cooperative societies in the country. Each society must be having at least 1,000 members. Now, with the digitalization of the primary agriculture cooperative societies and networking them as an agriculture cooperative network, and each cooperative society, e-cooperative society, can bring in, these 1 lakh into so as many number of members of the society into the digitalized agriculture value chain, digitalized agricultural system in the country. This will facilitate in platform Indian agriculture economy, digital platform based Indian agriculture economy. There are another 3 farm acts which were enacted during 2020. They're all game changer. This will facilitate more than 85% of the farming community, small and marginal farmers, to get into agriculture value system. The Centre's Committee on Doubling Farmers' Income have recommended boosting digital initiatives in a very big manner. Next is Atmanirbhar Bharat, the road ahead. This is our Honorable Prime Minister's vision for making India a self-reliant nation, rested on 5 I's: intent, inclusion, investment, infrastructure, and innovation, based on 5 pillars. Economy with quantum jump and not incremental. Infrastructure, one that represents modern India. System, 21st century technology driven. Vibrant demography, source of energy for self-reliant India. Demand, whereby the strength of our demand and supply chain should be utilized to full capacity. And this is where today's topic is very important. Vocal for local and make in India for global. And the reforms announced have been systematic, planned, integrated, interconnected, and futuristic for creating strong enterprises, generating employment, and robust supply chain. This is our intent. Atmanirbhar Bharat in agriculture, during the 3rd tranche of the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, agriculture sector got about 1.5 lakh crore as the booster. Empowering farmers is the priority. India will go from data poor to data rich nation in 5 years, allowing data driven decision making for scale and inclusion, large scale deployment of artificial intelligence enabled systems, decision making systems, including machine learning and deep learning and big data analytics. Agritech is a new horizon in Indian agriculture, is heavily regulated. So far, agriculture, a sector heavily regulated by the government, largely traditional with little or no exposure to digital, and mostly unpredictable due to its heavy dependence on climatic conditions, was not on the venture capital radar. What has made Agritech a sunrise sector that it is today? It could be a combination of reasons, one of which is the Modi-led government's agri-push focused on doubling farmers' income. Other and the more pronounced reason is the overall ecosystem evolution. Agritech India emerging trends in 2019, according to the NASCOM report, it has identified emerging business opportunities in agri-tech as follows: market linkages, digital agriculture, better access to inputs, farming as a solution, and financing. These 5 areas can facilitate a large amount of agri-tech startups in India. In a 2019 report, NASCOM estimated that there are more than 450 agri-tech startups in the country, and funding has shot up 300% in the sector. And the Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022 report has suggested, as I told earlier, 7 measurement projects, out of which one is digitalized value chain for 400 agriculture commodities. This may facilitate formation of more than 6,500 agri startups, one per each developmental block, or even about 2.25 lakhs agri startup one per each Gram Panchayat, which can ease out supply side lock in logistic of the agriculture value system. Farm Extension 4.0 has got very important 12 areas which were not untouched except one, that is technology transfer from ICR institutions through Krishi Vigyan Kendras. And these 12 areas can bring in startups in a very big area. Agritech startups, 7 mission mode programs, and 3 farm acts can facilitate 2.25 agritech startups at Gram Panchayat level. Agricultural cooperative societies and e-governance can convert themselves into more than 1.5 lakh agritech startups in cooperative sector. Why can't we do it? They're all institutions available for more than 70 years in India. In order to promote agri startups with a view to attracting budding entrepreneurs into the farming sector and boost exports, supporting the Prime Minister's vision of doubling agri-export, Indian Chambers of Food and Agriculture launched its 1000 agri-export startup program in February 2021 to provide building export startups with the needed money support and technical assistance. MSME Ministry was working during 2020 on the agro-MSME policy for nurturing entrepreneurship in rural, tribal, and agricultural and forest areas, according to the former Union Minister, Shri Nitin Gadkari, as reported in the paper on 4th May 2020. Agritech is a value innovation. As agriculture and India has a unique bond, Startup Agri India. I wish to quote address by Mr. Jinesh Shah, co-founder and managing director of Omnivar, a leading agri-tech venture capital, Mumbai, on the topic Agritech New Horizon in Indian Agriculture, which he has participated in this national webinar series on 12th August 2021. He said it, 80% of the agri startups use digital technologies as a part of their core offering. Smallholder farmers are critically important for global food supply. Digital interventions are critical for doubling farmers' income. Pandemic contributed to new business models gaining importance. For farmers, technology is a tool for augmenting incomes. Agriculture marketing covers the service involved in moving an agricultural product from the farm to the consumer. The services involve the planning, organizing, directing, and handling of agricultural produce in such a way as to satisfy the farmers, intermediaries, and consumers. Numerous interconnected activities are involved in doing this, such as planning production, growing and harvesting, grading, packing, packaging, transport, storage, agro and food processing, and provisions of market information, distribution, advertising, and sale. E-marketing of agricultural produce, challenges and opportunities. This I would like to quote from an article which is in progress from a paper. Internet has effectively facilitated e-markets, which is expected to be more transparent and competitive than physical markets. National market, including global market, is accessible to the farming community there through their websites. Government of India, under its Digital India program, have launched its Pan-India Online National Agriculture Market Portal, ENAM, on 14th April 2016. ENAM is a virtual market, but it has a physical market at the back end. There was a necessity for complete integration of ENAM 2016 of the NDA government tool with AgMarkNet 2000, a pan-India with 3,297 nodes for agricultural produce marketing information system of NDA 1 for the benefit of Indian farmers to successfully operationalize about 400 agricultural commodity value chain as the byproduct by 2018. It didn't happen. AgMarkNet has emerged as the national knowledge portal linking farmers to domestic and global markets. Information and communication technologies through e-commerce model, facilitates formation of e-marketplace, e-distribution sites, and e-procurement sites. In the country, there are about more than 22,000 rural primary and periodic markets, being the first contact point of the farmers with the market economy, both for selling and buying. Small and marginal farmers constitute of about 85%, now it is 90% of the farming community, are nearer to 22,000 rural markets. And rural India consumers needed to have a e-trade platform at these 22,000 platform, rural markets. Rural markets can become rural virtual markets through private investment and entrepreneurial startup in the agriculture sector and in agriculture sector, as there have been high price differentials many times between the wholesale markets and rural markets. There has been room for arbitrage, which is being exploited by the traders to their advantage. Therefore, it is imperative to make wholesale markets as the price discovery point and rural markets as the price takers, with due consideration for transport and other costs. Agribusiness management emerging as an ICT-enabled value chain and potential scope for large-scale private investment through entrepreneurial startups. India has got a huge potential for growth, development, and business in the agribusiness and food processing sector. It is estimated that by 2030, the agriculture and agribusiness industry is projected to be $3 trillion in Africa and almost $4.5 trillion in Asia. And India emerges as an investment destination in the agribusiness and food processing sector in view of the sound factors: supply side advantage, supply demand growth, conducive policy environment, investing in increasing investment, and strategic location, according to a report from FICCI 2014. ICT-enabled rural hubs for business can facilitate to achieve collective impact in rural India. On 4th July 2016, Times of India editorial column carried a title. I would like to bring it to the notice of the participants. The title was "Digital India is Dying," and warned that without intervention, Digital India looks to simply to be a colony of US and China. Companies such as Flipkart, Snapdeal, and Ola, which saw strong growth in the last few years, are faltering today at the hands of intense competition with the deep pockets from Amazon and Uber. And also suggested that if India had a local digital economy comparable to China, it could be the next driver of global growth. This is the point which we have been concentrating from the centers of excellence of the Shobhit University, how to have India to achieve a local digital economy as comparable to China. Skill development program, bridging the development gaps in human resources required for digitizing farming is essential. That's why the Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology has launched MTech and BTech program in agriculture informatics program. And unfortunately, there is no MBA program in agriculture marketing in the country. To professionally run 7,500 wholesale mandis and 22,000 rural mandis, agriculture cooperatives and e-governance system is the need of the hour. According to the NABARD report, PACs can support farmers in the post-harvest and marketing activities, in addition to playing a key role in the physical and financial supply chains of commodities, by acting as a spokes to the upcoming Grameen agriculture markets, grams, and turning into multi-services centers, one-stop shops for meeting the varied needs of the farmer. Reforms so that the small farmers benefit, according to Dr. Hema Yadav, Farmer Deputy Director NIAM, in the business line dated on September 18, 2022. Now, Dr. Hema Yadav is the director of the Vaikuntha Mehta National Institute of cooperative management. We must ensure that Indian farmers benefit from all these developments, right up front. I endorse the 4 centers of excellence: Center for Agriculture Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, and Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies, and Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Application, and Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application of the Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology are focused on this core issue. Let us now turn to the address by Professor M.V. Ashok, Senior Advisor, BAIF Research and Development Foundation, Pune, and Visiting Professor, College of Postgraduate Studies, Shillong, on the very important topic, supporting of farmers for marketing will only help doubling of our income by 2022. This topic will motivate and galvanize the participants watching our telecast through facebook.com Shobhit University India or youtube.com Shobhit University In or linkedin.com company /Shobhit University for developing many joint collaborative research projects in the form of Agritech startups in the agriculture marketing to facilitate farm as a business. More than 6,500 agri startups, one per block, or even about 2.25 lakhs agri startup, one for each gram panchayat. We are moving towards digitalized platform economy in agriculture, as Digital India is the way of life as envisioned by Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi. Let me introduce our guest speaker, Professor M.B. Ashok. Professor M.B. Ashok, an agribusiness professional, retired as the Chief General Manager of National Bank for Agriculture Rural Development NABARD Head Office, Mumbai, on 31st July 2017, after 37 years of development banking service, having been with the Reserve Bank of India and Canara Bank also earlier. Currently, Professor Ashok holds the position of Senior Advisor, BAIF Research and Development Foundation, Pune. After a stint as Adjunct Professor for School of Agricultural Business Management, MIT World Peace University, Pune, besides visiting Professor at College of Postgraduate Studies, Shillong, with the Central Agriculture University Northeast. He is also an advisor to Aditya Birla Group as well as Dr. Reddys Foundation and several NGOs and FPOs promoted by them, and a mentor to about 6 Agritech startups. A postgraduate in agriculture, Professor Ashok is from the 1980 batch of Indian Agricultural Research Institute, New Delhi, after a bachelor's degree in agriculture from Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, Coimbatore, 1978 batch. With additional qualifications in agribusiness management from Cornell University, USA, as well as on financing micro enterprises from the Institute of Development Studies, University of Reading, United Kingdom, and also in general management, human resources development, training, and development. Professor Ashok has considerable exposure in NABARD to collective farming models, beginning with the Farmers Club scheme from 1985 onwards to the introduction of Farmers Produce Organization model from its inception from the late 1990s. He has been studying the subject of agriculture marketing from the last 1 decade and learning from the experience from agri startup and farmer produce organization he has been associated with. Professor Ashok has got exposure of rural finance and agribusiness sector in several countries, including Thailand, India, China, Germany, USA, Finland, and England. With this, I welcome Professor M.B. Ashok for today's national webinar series on doubling farmers' income by 2022, Atmanirbhar Bharat in agriculture. Supporting of farmers for marketing will only help doubling of income by 2022. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Moni. It has been an absolutely good presentation which you made about my own profile, and I hope I'll be able to stand up to your expectations as well. So I decided to talk on this subject on account of certain aspects which you have highlighted in your address, and mainly the fact is that during the last 35 years of my experience with farmers, having been with NABARD during this period, I have been very closely associated with farmers and understood many of the challenges that they are facing in the field. across the country in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, and Jharkhand. And I think that covers a large section of the sample of the country as well. So, on the basis of my own experiences and what I have seen in the field, I thought it'll be a good exercise to, especially during the pandemic, when there was a lockout, and I had to sit at home. I used that time to write a book on agriculture marketing and the emerging trends, which I have been released by NABARD. I've been very thankful to them, and the chairman NABARD, Dr. Chintala, has been very nice to have taken the initiative to release the book at the hands of all his people and himself at the head office last month. And I decided to take up the subject in order to highlight some of the aspects which I wanted to highlight as far as this national webinar is concerned, for doubling of farmers by of farmers' income by 2022, because it brings out a lot of aspects which people can think of either replicating or scaling up. Now I shall just go over to my presentation which I have, which will be. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yeah. Uh, okay. So this is the broad subject on which I wanted to talk to you all, so that I could try to share my experience with you. Now, when you talk of the concept of agriculture marketing, number one, most of the people in the urban areas are not aware, especially the children, are not aware from where our fruits and vegetables come. Because when this question was posed to a couple of students, they said, yes, we know it comes from Big Bazaar or it comes from Reliance Fresh. Now, that is the level of understanding of urbanites. And therefore, it was essential to create awareness among people about agriculture marketing in general. And therefore, I have tried to bring out some aspects here, that it includes both input for seeds, fertilizers, agriculture machinery, and human labor, and the output marketing, which I consider more important, because today that is what is a challenge for farmers. So, during the course of my study, I had found out that there are different systems of agriculture marketing in the country today. One is the sale to the money lenders, which is perhaps the most common among the systems, which is prevalent across the country, right from Kerala up to you can say northeast, maybe in different proportions, but yes, it is there. Then you have sale in village markets, which is known as heart. Each village has got a heart, a village market, which normally operates once a week. In some places, it operates more often. And the farmers, they take their produce to the heart, and then they sell it over there. So that is perhaps the most common way that they do it at the markets. And then you have what is known as the agricultural produce marketing committees, mandis, where the farmers can take their surplus harvested produce and then try to sell it there. But there are several challenges there, which I'll come to it a little later. And then you have cooperative marketing, which has been introduced by the government of India, and it has been uh, not so successful in all the places. But yes, there are successful studies as well, some cases as well, which I shall try to highlight during the course of my uh, address. And then direct marketing, which has started maybe during the course of last half a decade, where farmers undertake direct marketing to the consumers, where they be in contact with consumers in high-rise apartments, mostly in the urban areas, and then according to the requirements, they supply the fruits and vegetables, mostly the fruits and vegetables, and not so much of other things. Now, when you look at agriculture marketing, there are a lot of defects which have been observed, which I have studied, and I wanted to indicate what are the various defects on account of which problems are there and which have given rise to a lot of opportunities to startups, agri startups, and the farmer producer organizations to help the farmers. So, one is about the lack of storage facility. Now, if you look at the storage facility in India, there is absolutely no proper storage and therefore many of the farmers who actually cultivate grains, they do have a lot of problems on account of this. And up to 30% of the agriculture produce are damaged either by rats or by rains. And India produces almost 285 million tons of food grains per year, but we have storage capacity of only 108 million tons. And out of which, almost 75 million tons is accounted for by the Food Corporation of India, the Central Warehousing Corporation, and the State Warehousing Corporation, and the balance is only operated by the cooperatives or by the private. It's a very, very small, minuscule. Then the next defect is about the distress sale. Now, as Dr. Moni was mentioning, almost about 80% of the farmers are small and marginal, and they cannot wait for better price. And the moment they harvest it, they need to sell it so that they can get some money in hand. But this not coming as easily as possible, they try to do what best they can do, sell at a distress. Then about lack of transportation, which is another major problem which they are facing, and poor road transportation facility is the main culprit. And since there are no good roads, nor too many vehicles in the rural areas, the transportation cost is very high, and the farmers rely mainly on the village level transport system, that is the bullock carts and the cycles. The delay in the produce reaching the market is another problem because of this lack of transportation, and the bulky nature of the agriculture produce necessitates packing, which many of the farmers are unable to do efficiently. Manual labor is also involved as mechanization is very costly for the small farmers, and this is another problem that they are facing. I was telling you about the APMCs, the mandis, and they are very unfavorable to farmers in general. And many of the farmers do not want to sell it in mandis, and therefore they go to the village huts or they go to directly to the people and then sell it. The conditions of mandis are not favorable to the farmers, as I told you, and farmers have to wait for disposing their produce for which there is no storage facility. Now, farmers have to take the help of the middlemen. They can't do it directly, and therefore they have to take the help of middlemen or what they call as dalals. And the dalals take away a major share of the profit. Deals finalized either in dalals or Arathia's favor and never in the farmer's favor. So this is, and they are unable to do anything about it. Regulated markets adopt various malpractices like false weights and measures, and that is adding to the trouble. Lack of grading and standardization of the products, either at the farmers level or in the APMCs, is another problem that is happening. Now, if you look at agriculture marketing, there are several intermediaries between the farmer and the consumer. You have wholesalers, brokers, commission agents, and retailers, and then only it comes to the consumer. Now, with the result, agriculture goods have the longest chain of middlemen, and unlike the industrial goods, which may not have so many. All these middlemen and dalals claim a good amount of margin and thus reduce the returns for the farmer. As it passes through each level, the prices increases, and the consumer, who is finally made to pay the final price. But the pity is that the price paid by the consumer, only a minuscule of it reaches the farmer. Then another defect which has been observed is about lack of market information. Now, absence of market information in India is very common. Of course, a lot of developments have taken place wherein a lot of startups have come up in order to provide this information to farmers, where who have smartphones because otherwise it's not possible. And many of the farmers have started taking smartphones on account of this reason. Farmers are not aware of the ruling price in the big markets. So what happens is when they take their produce to the mandi and then they find that the rates are much less which are offered by the dalals. Now, in case they have to bring back the produce, then it entails further cost, and therefore he manages to sell it at whatever rate he can get at the APMC. Farmers accept any price for their produce as offered by the trader or middleman, which is unremunerative for the reasons which I just mentioned. Then, one of the major problems among farmers is that there is lack of organization among farmers. Dr. Moni was specifically mentioning about the organization problems among farmers, and lack of collective organization on the part of Indian farmers has been a major problem. Of course, over the last 10 years, there has been a lot of change, but nevertheless, the problem still exists. High transportation costs result in small amount of marketable produce being brought to the market. So how do you collectively do this activity is what the organization should think of. So long as the farmer does not learn the system of marketing himself or in cooperation with others, he can never bargain better. Another major problem or defect is about lack of grading. Farmers do not give importance to grading of their produce, and whatever produce is harvested, they simply try to bring it to the mandi and then or the village market, and then they sell it. They do not. They fail to fetch a good price for their quality product because of this reason. Standardization enables producers of consumer or industrial goods to get the right price for the produce, which is not happening in the field of agriculture. Grading according to the shade, size, etc., is what is required, and many FPOs have started doing it at the FPO level when they collect all the produce from their farmer members. Little importance is given for graded produce by the farmers in general, and the producer gets the same price for different varieties of goods in spite of any grading, even if they do it sometimes. Another major problem is about lack of institutional finance. Now, farmers face several challenges in getting loans from the financial institutions, and farmers are under the clutches of the traders and moneylenders, and on account of which they are unable to go to the financial institutions at all in the first place. After harvest, they have to sell their produce to moneylenders at unfavorable terms, which is what is happening today, and with the result, they are unable to take institutional finance. So then, what are the remedial measures? Having understood what the defects are, the question is how do you rectify them? So a lot of things have been indicated here. Establishment of regulated markets, which the government has done. Establishment of cooperative marketing societies, which the farmers sometimes have done or the government has initiated. Construction of additional storage and warehousing facilities by both the government as well as private entrepreneurs. Expansion of market yards for the new and existing markets by the government. Extending adequate amount of loans to farmers. This has not been happening, but then the people who are expected to do this are the banks and the NBFCs, the non-banking financial companies. Timely marketing information to the farmers, which is being given by Agritech startups as well as the government apps, which is happening and largely being appreciated by the farmers. Improvement and extension of road transportation facilities, which only the government can do. Provision of standardization and grading, which the government or agri-startups or FPOs can do. Formulating suitable agriculture price policy, which again only the government can do, and largely it has been finalized for about 30. The minimum price has been fixed for about 33 COP. But then, even in the case of vegetables, it is not there. And Kerala is perhaps, and including Haryana, the first two states that have introduced minimum support price for vegetables also very recently. And then, lastly, one of the most important remedial measures is the formation of the farmer producer organizations by NGOs, agri startups, and the government. So, this has come about very recently, and it has been identified as one of the most important measures. And the government of India has given a target of 10,000 farmer producer organizations within about 5 years, and a lot of NGOs, a lot of startups are involved in this implementation path. Now, one of the main drivers of this is the digitalization of agriculture marketing, about which Dr. Moni was saying a lot of things, which I just wanted to summarize in a few words. NCDEX started with commodity trading, they were the beginners. And the electronic National Agriculture Market is a pan India electronic trading portal introduced by the Government of India. Network It networks among all the agriculture produce marketing mandis to create a unified national market. But the problem here is a farmer in say Punjab, if he wants to purchase some commodity from say Kerala. Now, although he may see the produce, he is not sure whether the actual produce which he will receive will be of the same quality and quantity. These are some of the practical problems on account of which it has not been able to go beyond the state. And the Small Farmers Agribusiness Consortium, SFAC, of Government of India is implementing this ENAM. Now, since there were a lot of defects which were observed there, the NAFED, that is the National Federation of Agriculture Marketing, has come up with a scheme called E-Kisan Mandis, which is an electronic trading platform for FPOs. And they have started their first one in Pune in 2021, and it has been done by a group of 30 FPOs in Maharashtra, and with a partnership of 51 to 49% between the Federation of FPCs of NAFED and the Maha FPC, the Federation of FPCs in Maharashtra. And the NAFED plans another 50 e-Kisan mandis in 2021. The second of it, which has already started in Vashi, and one is being planned in Vashi, Nashik, and they're planning to take it to other states as well. And by 2022, they hope that the number will come to 100. So this is about the number of e-Kisan mandis which have been planned state-wise. Some information was available, so I thought I will just share it with you in order to give you an idea which are the states and how many of them have been indicated. Even in Northeast, they are planning 3 of them. The states, I'm yet to understand which are the states which they have identified. Then we come to the emergence of agri startups, again about which Dr. Moni was giving a lot of information, and which I personally consider that the agriculture has been given a large boost because of the agri startups, which are either using technology or without using technology. The defects they create opportunities and scope for business for agriculture. That is what has been happening. Now, the problem actually comes with the last mile connectivity, because as far as the policies are concerned, it is there. Most of the problems can be solved by small ticket investment, which is happening across the country now. And there are almost about 1,000 agri startups in the country which have been established, and many of them are quite successful because they get a lot of support from the farming community. Agriculture is a sought after business for startups. Now, any startup, anybody who wants to make a startup is thinking of agriculture because that is where the potential lies. Governments have schemes for distribution of inputs. Many farmers are still unable to get the agricultural inputs on time because of last mile problems, and many opportunities like supply of agricultural inputs, designing of distribution channels, agribusiness counseling are the pet subjects for these startups. Clinical services for animal health to enhance productivity of both crops and animals is the core of many of these startups. Now, what I've done is, depending on my experience over the last 10 years, I have tried to identify a couple of them startups. Which in couple of them I'm already I'm a mentor, and some of them I may be a well-wisher. And on that basis, I have taken up some case studies to be presented over here, which I will be doing shortly. Now, a wave of agritech startups in India have started over the last few years, which started addressing all the concerns or the defects which I told you. Then the agritech startups help grow farmers grow better and healthier and produce agricultural produce too. With over 70% households still dependent on farming, this sector holds a huge potential for agricultural startups. And successful agritech startups are helping farmers with the best practices have been captured for your information to you. As I told you, startups are associated with me either as a mentor or as an advisor or as a well-wisher, because I thought it may have a better impact on the people who are listening rather than taking just another startup from the field. So one of the first startup which I would like to say is called Ergos. And you must have heard Dr. Moni mention about the fact that the warehouses, lack of warehouses, is one of the major problems in India. And this particular startup has taken up that issue and started their startup in Bihar, in the district of Samastipur. Although it was registered in Bangalore, but they started their work in Samastipur because the founders were all from Bihar. Ergos created village level small warehouses and provide door to door step access to warehouse services. Most of the time, farmers are unable to use the warehouses because they are unable to take their produce to the warehouse on account of lack of transport facility, or it may be quite costly. Now, in this particular case, this startup has taken up the responsibility of transporting the produce from the farm gate to the warehouse without any problem. Small warehouses are taken on lease and they are very scientifically managed by them so that they are in a position to give the WRDA warehouse receipts also, which can be traded or which can be against which loans can be taken with banks. The warehouse accepted one bag of grain, regardless of caste. You may be surprised to know that in Bihar, in many of the warehouses, they will not accept the produce, the bags of any other category of caste. And therefore, many farmers are unable to do it. And this has left many of the warehouses having only about 10 to 20% of their capacity and not the full capacity. So in this particular case, when the Ergos manages to bring the produce from the farmer to the warehouse in their transport vehicle, the identity of the farmer is totally lost, and therefore this problem is solved out. And Ergos has a mobile app which can be used by the farmer when he wants to sell. In case it is left in the warehouse, they can sell it after about 2 months or 3 months or 5 months or 6 months, depending on the crop and the shelf life. And the rates are communicated to them on a regular basis, and depending on the requirement of funds by the farmer, he decides to sell it or otherwise. And ergo sells in bulk. When they have enough to sell, they sell it in bulk to the feed mills and processing mills across the country. Right from Samastipur, they are sending it to Tamil Nadu feed mills, and they are able to give a better return to the farmers. Then you have the most common uh, uh, case study of a big basket, which many of you know about. And big basket model is tailored to serve the needs of India's rural farm supplies. The business is also a major job creator for about 8,000 jobs in the country. And currently, it has been decided that Tata's will take over that. They have found the model to be a good business model, and on that basis, they've decided it. And the Commonwealth Development Council of United Kingdom has been funding the initial funding for the in case of I'm sorry, that was in the case of Ergos. Um, in the case of Big Basket, the focus is on good agriculture practice, productivity, pricing, and access to markets. So they try to be directly in touch with the farmers, and they had personally come to me asking what could be the model when I connected them with the farmer producer organizations, because individual farmers it will be difficult for any organization. So it has been on a pilot basis in Maharashtra, in Satara district, it was tried out with the help of another organization, and we found that there is a lot of scope for undertaking this, and they're trying to scale it up and replicate it in other states as well. It offers the best price for their produce through innovative and transparent pricing system, where they indicate what is the price of each vegetable, for instance, each vegetable, and this price is invariably more than 1 to 2 rupees a kilo from the local market price which the traders are offering. But provided the farmers are able to supply the produce according to the requirements of big basket, which is in terms of the grading. So they are given training as to how to do the grading, and also help them in the trading activity, in the grading activity. Big basket also helps farmers with information, market information, so that they are able to know whether they are getting a better deal from big basket rather than the local mandi. Farmers regularly interact with the big baskets agronomists, and they have a huge army of agronomists who help the farmers in terms of giving them the technical support, which benefits from the support received. During the lockdown period, it was Big Basket which came to the rescue of most of the farmers in most of the states. Then I wanted to tell you about a couple of other case studies on a different level, which I wanted to explain. One is called Farmizan. Farmizan is a startup which is in Bangalore city, and the same model is there by in different names in different parts of the country, like Gurgaon or Coimbatore and Chennai, etc. Now, this is a farm to fork model, and the Farmazon manages 5 to 10.5 acres of land of a farmer, which is divided into mini farms of 600 square feet each. And there is a monthly subscription which can come from the consumer, which is normally around 2,500 rupees per month, which includes the monthly rent to the farmers, and gets the consumer can get farmer to grow vegetables of their choice as per the season in the 12 beds allocated to them in the mini farm. And Farmazon provides agro inputs, technical know-how, marketing, distribution, regulation, and monitoring facilities. The farmers of Farmazon make a minimum of 3 times, not just doubling of farmers, but 3 times more income from their farms compared to traditional agriculture. Unfortunately, it is not so widespread. So until it is widespread, perhaps we may still have to make a lot of efforts. And consumers get access to safe, traceable food they can trust. The consumers are encouraged to visit the farmers' field, be with them, understand what the farm operations are with their family members, with their children, which they are doing also. And every week they get locally grown seasonal food free of chemicals delivered directly to their doorsteps or harvested by them at the farms. They can either go there and harvest it or it is delivered at their homes. So as far as for startups are concerned, I'm stopping here because there are other case studies which gives other models which I wanted to explain. So one is about the farmer producer organizations which Dr. Moni was trying to say and the importance of it. So the FPC model is a registered body of farmers. It is a registered body. It is registered under the Companies Act without limit on the size of membership nor on the extent of area, but some of them are only covering one or two villages, or some of them may be covering one block, or some of them may be covering one district, some of them may be covering groups of districts, and some a whole state as well. Now, FPCs break the pharma organization free of typically inefficient and politicized image of the cooperatives. So even the cooperatives were supposed to be the farmer producer organizations, a registered body, yes, but they had certain problems which are indicated here, and it tried to break them. And FPC is an improvement over the cooperative, which can accommodate non-farmers and producers as members. Whereas here, only farmers, no trader is made a member unless he has land, unless he cultivates the land, he is not made a member of a farmer producer organization. FPCs can accommodate only primary producers, what I just told you, to participate in the ownership and management of FPCs. And the cooperatives allow scope for political government interference and control and management, which is somehow done away with in the FPC system. So these are the objectives of the FPOs to mobilize small and marginal farmers into FPOs, which Dr. Moni was also trying to say, to channel inputs for farmers in bulk. They get it and then distribute it to the farmers so that the cost can be reduced for individual farmers, to build the capacity of farmers groups, to help them evolve as strong platforms, to help farmers, give them increased bargaining strength due to bulk purchase and bulk sale, to ensure better access to quality inputs and services as well as markets to FPOs. And I have personally been seen how it has helped some of the FPOs in terms of giving better access to quality inputs and services. I wouldn't say that everywhere it happened, but at least in the cases which I have studied and where I have been able to get some information, I have seen it. So, what are the initiatives which have been there in India for FPO development? So, it started off in 2000 by the Government of India, and the Small Farmers Agribusiness Consortium of Government of India started it, and they introduced the equity grant and soft loan scheme, and NABARD introduced the scheme with a fund of its own called a Producers Organization Development Fund, and which had only a small fund of about 50 crore. But subsequently, when the Government of India saw what NABARD was doing, they gave another 200 crores to NABARD in 2014 and asked them to undertake an exercise of creating 2,000 FPOs. And NABARD created a scheme called Produce, which was done, and up to 2016 it was done, and they were able to manage not only 2,000 but almost about 2,400 FPOs in the country with the help of partner organizations, the NGOs across the country. And in 2020, the Government of India came up with the 10,000 FPO scheme for 5 years. And they have identified a whole lot of NGOs in the field and even startups to promote the FPOs and handhold them to ensure that this scheme is successful. and the Small Farmers Agribusiness Consortium, the National Federation of Agriculture Marketing, the National Cooperative Development Corporation, and NABARD are the participating organizations at the national level, and at the grassroots level, you have the NGOs and the agri startups, which are known as community development organizations, CBBOs. So there are a lot of benefits which I just told you now of the FPOs to the farmers, like aggregation of produce and transport, bulk transport, which reduces the marketing cost, use of custom hiring services of farm equipment, attracts traders, processors, and retailers to the farm gate, access to modern technology, extension services, and joint training, minimizes the post-harvest losses through joint storage and value addition, manage distress sale due to adverse price fluctuations, effective communication of dissemination of market information, access to institutional credit against stock, and movement up the value chain and gradation into primary and secondary processing. You will observe that all these benefits somehow are linked to the defects which we had observed in the agriculture marketing scene. So this is about in 2016. There was a list of the primary the FPOs which have been registered, and there were something like about 7,374 FPOs which are indicated in the case of state-wise, and the percentage of the total number, which is also indicated over here, just for information. Now, when you talk of FPOs, the what struck me was some of the things which I had seen in the field, and one of the main thing which I had personally was associated with is a NGO in Tamil Nadu called Ahimsa, which Dr. Moni himself was the person who introduced me to them in the year 2000, I think something like 2016 or so. And ever since, I have been associated with them, and I have been closely watching what they are doing. Now, this Ahimsa, it's an acronym which says All Human Integrated Meritorious Social Awareness Society, which is actually an NGO, which is almost about 39 years now, and is operating across the state of Tamil Nadu and one state, Karnataka, in Karnataka, and another one state, one district in Uttarakhand. So the main activity is the aggregation of the agricultural produce of the farmers and marketing it. And it forms farmers clubs in villages of 20 members each and without any funding from anywhere. After 6 months, it federates 50 clubs in a contiguous area into a farmer producer organization of 1,000 members, because only then it becomes viable. It hires transport vehicles, trucks, and collects produce from the individual farmer's gate and aggregate it at the village level. And then this is aggregated at the district level. And at the district level, they identify reliable traders after due diligence in different parts of the state. The district coordinator assesses the rates of different traders commodity wise and decides what commodity should go where. And farmers are paid reasonably after meeting all the transaction costs, and they do not take any other commission on that. The farmers are paid for the produce within a week, because the traders also pays on Ahimsa within a week and within 2-3 days, and then this is passed on to the farmers, and all transportation costs are initially borne by Ahimsa, and later it is adjusted from the sale proceeds of the farm produce. Recently, they started direct sale to apartments also in Chennai. They have started it, and they plan to start it in other metros in Tamil Nadu. So, in urban areas where there are at least 300 flats in a contiguous area, door delivery of agriculture commodities is taken up, and the requirements are communicated over phone or by WhatsApp on daily basis to a local coordinator who contacts with the flat residents, and vegetables are packed as per requirement by village level women who are organized in a self-help group mode, and they are delivered to the consumer the next day. Payments by the residents in the flats are made either by cash in advance or net banking or at the time of delivery. There is another good example of an FPO in Rajasthan called Gumar Mahila FPO. It's a women's FPO of tribal women, and Pali district is among the most backward districts of western Rajasthan, dominated by tribal population. Custard apple, sitafal, is one of the most abundantly found non-timber forest produce of the forests of the southern western Rajasthan. And tribal women make a livelihood by collecting they go to the forest, they collect the custard apple, come back, and then they sell it to the traders. Now, more than 50% of the total fruits gets wasted due to lack of market linkage, extremely short span of the harvesting season, and high volume of the fruits and high perishability. So what happened was one NGO called Srijan, which is based in New Delhi but operating in about 7 states where there are tribals, they came to the help of these people, and they organized them into self-help groups and developed a system of implementing a value chain. So they organized what is known as the Gumar Maila Producer Company to set up and promote business of custard apple value chain or processing. The FPO comprised of SSG Federation of close to 3,000 tribal women in the district. And Gumar SSG Federation takes up the various social issues also. And the fruits are collected, and they are brought to a centralized place where the women help in the removal of the seeds, and then they have a mechanized way of removing the seeds, and then the pulp is immediately there are more than 800 women pluck raw custard apple from the wild and sell it to the VLCC, that is the village level collection center, and they earn almost about 2,500 rupees in a period of 30 to 35 days. And these women help in the day-to-day activities of this VLCC and the central processing unit, where fruits are reweighed in CPU and kept in rooms where they are naturally ripened in 2 to 3 days. And later the women sort out the ripened fruits on their appearance, texture, and scoop out the pulp from the fruit. Outside, the peels are sent to the compost pit, and the scooped pulp is sent to the pulper, a mechanized unit where the seeds get separated from the whole pulp, and the seeds are washed and sun dried for preservation after sales and natural plantation, and the processed pulp is then packed into 1 kg standard packs and freezed under minus 35 degrees centigrade for 8 hours, and the frozen pulp is moved to cold storages and marketed for more than kept on a normal temperature of the minus 16 degrees Celsius, and it is sold at about 200 to 300 rupees per kilo to ice cream makers and milkshake makers across the country. More than 1,000 women are involved in the value chain, where close to 200 women get employment in the CPU, and approximately 850 women sell raw custard apple in the VLCC. Another case study is one which I prepared myself in 2011 in Jharkhand, and which I had submitted it for a All India case study competition, and which fortunately won the second prize, not the first prize anyway. However, this I wanted to bring out this case study, which is called a Jharkhand women's poultry, and it won the second prize in the Sitaram Rao All India case study competition in 2011, organized by Access Livelihood Development Limited, New Delhi, and the Institute of Rural Management, Anand. The case study was on a unique cooperative institution promoted as a livelihood model for tribal women, where small and marginal farmers whose menfolk are by and large working in faraway states like Punjab, Maharashtra, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and employed mostly in construction sites and road work. But they all have land. So the women look after this land and conceived by this project by the well-known NGO called Pradhan, which is operating in about 11 states and very prominently in Jharkhand. They, after seeing the immense success of this model in Madhya Pradesh, they wanted to take advantage of the scale economies of scale in procurement of inputs and for marketing of output. Women are organized into members of self-help groups and in clusters and further into members of a cooperative poultry society, which is normally in a district level and for rearing of broiler poultry chicken. Now, the women are trained to rear about 300 to 400 chicks only by the side of their house, not huge ones, and by the side of their dwelling. And the cooperative society provides all support to the women from supplying day-old chicks, supply of feed, medicines, vaccination, training, and purchasing the chicken from them after the 33 or 34-day period during which it grows. The feed components are purchased in bulk by the society and mixed in feed mills owned by the society and distributed to the members. And the cooperative society organizes bulk sale of the birds as and when they are ready for sale by contacting the traders. The cooperative society is run by governing body consisting of members, individual members who are the women of that society, and the profits are distributed among the members by way of dividend after retention of certain reserves required. Now, when we are talking of cooperative societies, one important cooperative society, successful cooperative society, which came to my mind is known as E-Road Agricultural Producers Cooperative Marketing Society in Tamil Nadu, about which Dr. Pichai and another gentleman, they made a study, a case study, and they presented it at a conference. And the Erode Society was established in 1960 and is one of the most successful ones. I would call them a farmer producer organization, and it was registered with 58 members only in 1960. But today they have 23,449 members, and they have a share capital of 20 lakhs. Then they have a net profit since its commencement and distributing dividend of 14% to its members since 1990. India produces only nearly huge proportion of turmeric crop in the country and consumes 80% of it. So with this inherent quality, Indian turmeric is considered to be best in the world, and Andhra Pradesh accounts for 60% of the total production. And this produce, the Erode Society is collecting the turmeric. It is mainly meant for turmeric, and it is collecting the turmeric from the nearby districts and in Tamil Nadu and also in Karnataka. The highest rate is offered by the trader on the basis of a tender, an electronic tender, which is confirmed in consultation with the farmers. Only a nominal service charge of 1.5% is collected, and because of the huge volumes, the society is able to make money. Sale amount of turmeric is dispersed to the farmer on the spot itself. And main reason is very low service charge and collected from the members, and compared to other mandis that charge almost about 2% of the sale amount. Society fulfills other needs also, like input distribution, pledge loan, and immediate payment. And the society provides shed for the members, restroom for the members, food and snacks during the transaction, etc. Now, I wanted to mention about one particular startup called BioBasics in Coimbatore, which is doing a lot of service for farmers of organic produce. And this I wanted to highlight here. It was founded in almost about 2015 and by corporate professionals who came back from the United States, but they decided to stay back in Coimbatore and do this work. And since inception, Biobasics has slowly, steadily established itself as a trustworthy organic brand in South India. The organic food company launched its e-commerce platform also now and is looking out to reach to consumers across India. Biobasics is more than just a commercial venture focusing on organic food because it does much more than that. It bridges the gap between the farmer and the consumer, and no middlemen as they are responsible to both producer and consumer. The USP is that the fresh produce is delivered to the consumer's door with a time lag of just about half a day to 1 day from the time it is harvested. They do not hesitate with the farmer if the farmer's price is beyond acceptable limit and they just say that it will be difficult to sell. The trained staff of Biobasics is equally passionate about this venture, who meet the farmers once a week and pick the harvest, and the customers are contacted via email, WhatsApp, and text messages, and the list of available produce is sent out on every Friday. And on Monday, the harvest is done, and on Tuesday, the deliveries are made to the individual consumers. No unnecessary overhead costs like refrigeration, and deliveries are made in cloth bags of coarse cotton, which are brought back to be reused. And or the vegetable farmers involved in organic farming only within a radius of 100 kilometers are involved in this and not beyond that because otherwise transportation costs become very high. And fruits, herbs, vegetables, oils, pulses, spices, millets, and cereals are the main crops which are covered under them. And Biobasic source produce products directly from the farmers or NGOs groups only. Now, another major marketing strategy or method is the contract farming, of which I have one or two case studies as well, which I want to present here. So, contract farming, if you look at it, is an age-old means of livelihood for millions of Indian farmers. It's nothing new. Only the word came about new. Contract farming is between the buyer and the farmer, which establishes conditions for the production and marketing of a farm produce. And the contract farming usually involve the following basic elements: agreed price, quality, quantity, or acreage, and time. In contrast, farming the agriculture agrees to provide agreed quantities of specified agricultural product to the buyer. These products should meet the quality standards of the purchaser and be supplied at the time of determined by the purchaser. Buyer commits to purchase the product and in some cases to support production, which is happening in some cases. Several corporates are involved in agro commodity trading, processing, and exports, etc. So, by way of case studies, I have case studies here. One is a case study of a farm called INL Farms. It is actually a company which is based in Mumbai, which is helping farmers with marketing of banana and pomegranate, and mostly from Gujarat and Maharashtra, and they mostly are getting into exports, and the farmers are very happy about it. They are able to increase their income not by two or three times but even by four times. So till 2012, farmers in Gujarat mostly grew vegetables and other fruits, and today many of them are involved in 200 acres are involved in pomegranate only. INL has taps the lucrative European market and has got a few loyal customers in the region, which includes Holland, Netherlands. Farm plate price range from 60 to 80 rupees a kg, and which are sold at 100 to 200 rupees a kg, depending on the quality and source of the harvest. Now coming to the last case study, which is on Suguna Poultry from Coimbatore, which is in the poultry sector, and one of the most successful uh, 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 contract farming exercises. In 1986, Suguna Farm Foods Private Limited started as a small poultry trading company, and they supplied equipment, healthcare products related to poultry feed and chicks and other poultry companies. 3 years later, they realized that many farmers were giving up farming because of the large credit gap in the market due to dearth of structured loans from banks, and the idea to adopt contract farming struck them, and they carried out an agreement between their own farmers and the industrial buyer. In 1990, Suguna started contract poultry farming, wherein it produced farmers every they provided them everything they need: chicks, feed, medicines, and so on, and training. At present, close to 80% of the poultry in India is grown in using contract farming, because there are several contract farming farms in India today. You have India Poultry, you have Venkateswara Hatchery, you have Suguna Poultry, and a few others. Now, what I did was I tried to put everything together and bring it in the form of a book, which I have released now, called Emerging Trends in Agriculture Marketing in India, which I have, which has been released by the chairman NABARD, Dr. Chintala, and anybody who is interested in purchasing it can, and I can give it to you later on. If you can contact me, this is the link that can be given, and you can purchase the book as well. So, with this, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for having listened to me so patiently about agriculture marketing.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Professor Ashok, for your
Thank you.
very
Thank you. Thank
enlightening
you.
address for the last 1 hour, more than 1 hour, on the topic,
Okay.
which you suggested that supporting of farmers for marketing only will help doubling of income by 2022. And I was carefully watching, taking down notes, and the way in which you have gone through the complete value chain, that what is needed for the farmers to have their income increased, is that we have to support the farmers for their marketing in different ways wherever it is possible. And you have shown with the complete the challenges and opportunities, and also by quoting various case studies. You have quoted about 12 case studies, and each one you have done it with very carefully, and you've done it in such a manner that anybody who would like to scale it based on the success stories of those case study, of those NGO or a farmer produce organization, or the self-help group. Now you put it in such a manner that that you can scale it. You can tie up with those NGOs or these success stories, and then get motivated, and then do it. You talked about Ergos. It is solving the warehouse problems, and that is started in Bihar, and which we consider that many things will not even develop, and he has proved it a point. And then second one is that big basket, that how you from farm to fork, how they were the farmers were able to get a 10 to 14% higher income than selling in the local market. And then also you said it that this farmison in Bangalore, very good model, because that if the farmer, they got ideas but they don't have land, so they can go and it is a very good model. There are so many people have got land, agricultural land, but they don't want to give it to other people because of the problem that they cannot get it back, because in many states they have got land ceiling act and so on and so forth. So that they and this is another model which can be project scaled up like anything. We have a land, somebody has to come and earmark the area and grow it and sell it and pay the fee for it. And then we also talked about that this is a farmer produce organization. Now the country, the government alone is going to establish about 10,000 farmer produce organization through their core organization, NABARD, SFAC, NCDC, and NAFED. And and this is another important one which you have said it very effectively. And then cooperative marketing societies. In Japan and Korea and in various other countries where the cooperative marketing societies only are making money to the farmers, there is no middleman. We had a addressed by the regional director, Mr. Balasubramanian Iyer of in the International Cooperation Alliance, regional office Asia Pacific. He said it that this agriculture marketing cooperative, farmer cooperative society sends to urban consumer cooperative society with the traceability, with the complete packaging. So if one producer cooperative society sends to urban consumer cooperative society, and then the farmer gets all the benefits, there is nobody else. Why can't we have that type of models operationalized in India? We have more than 1.5 lakh cooperative societies. Dairy cooperative societies is doing very well. It is a good model. But the thing is that it covers about 35% of the milk trade. 65% is an unorganized sector. Private entries are coming into that. But it is something like a 3 lakh crore economy, which is outside the organized sector, which can give money daily to the farmer. The dairy sector is concerned. Otherwise, it's a perishable commodity. So the thing is that cooperative societies, which has come over a period, is an institution, but it has got a political, meaning. But with the technology, the political domination and the intervention by the government can be overcome. Farmers, as the shareholders of the cooperative societies, can be given more power with the traceability, with the blockchain technology adoption. So that's why agriculture cooperative societies and e-governance is an important thing to bring those pillars of development at the grassroots level with a rural touch. Can be a big thing for cornerstone for development for the farmers at the grassroots level. Big step for their marketing support, both input as well as output, and as well as also production stage, complete value chain. And then you also talked about the ahimsa. Ahimsa is the one where I was the honorary chairman, and they don't look for government support for anything. And they also, during the COVID situations, they were able to bring in fresh vegetables to the apartments. It's a good model. And this is and then you also gave a very good important case study, talked about Gummar Mahila Farmer Produce Organization for providing 1,000 jobs for the women in the custard apple value chain. Then Jharkhand woman, small poultry, organization, and then Erode Agri Producers Cooperative Marketing Society, turmeric value chain. The 80% of the turmeric product cultivations are happening in Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. 90% of the exports is going to developed countries. That, and then I had one webinar series in this one that we don't have a meaningful government organizations in these two states to support the turmeric cultivators, farmers. Not much processing industries in these two states where India has 80% of the turmeric cultivations. This is one area where one has to do it. The government of India has to intervene State governments has to intervene. These two states are the bulk producers of turmeric. And 90% of the turmeric exports are happening from this state, and and during the COVID situations, and this demand for this turmeric powder is turmeric based products are very much. And this is another area one has to look into it. And then even though we have got the GA tag for Euro turmeric, and there are many northeastern states, they also have got the turmeric GA tag. And this is another one important value chain one has to, a lot of startups can come up. One startup is working in Bhubaneswar, startup market masala. And this is this is an area where this webinar series also has addressed. Then biophysics Coimbatore, and you also talked about contract farming. It is age-old practices, and how it can. And you gave this Suguna poultry, how they brought in contract farming in the poultry sector very effectively, made it successful. And then INL farm, in Mumbai, and these are all successful case studies which you brought it very effectively. And to summarize, I was very happy that you traveled very effectively. That how the COVID situation has made you to write this book based on your vast experience. And you talked about the concept of agricultural marketing, and input market alone can bring in quality inputs to the farmers at subsidized rate. Today, no organizations provide quality inputs which are needed for quality productions at the farmer level. And I'm very happy to inform that a country like Netherlands, now they started establishing worldwide agricultural input marketing companies. They started a company in Netherlands. Now they're establishing offices throughout the world, and their objective is that how to give quality inputs to the farmers on demand, and so that they need not run from pillar to post. In India also, it needs all the input services. If you see, one of the recommendation of the doubling farmers' income in the digital technology in agriculture is that digitalized access to inputs, credit, finance, marketing, logistic, and so on and so forth. But inputs, that seeds, fertilizers, technology, and so on and so forth, and agriculture, the credit, finance, these are all important things. That input marketing is an important one where a lot of startups can come. During the production stage. Lot of, that's what I said in farming as a business. And then a lot of startups can come in the input marketing. Lot of startups can come in the, output marketing and post-harvest management, food processing, and so on and so forth. And agriculture is a sector. Agriculture is a commodity, has to be considered as an industry. And if we have to help 85% of more than 85% of the farmers who are small and marginal scale have to be the millionaires. And this is an important area where startups and farmer produce organization and self-help group can be facilitated. They have to be supported, and it has to come out. And you also very nicely said it, different system of agricultural marketing, cooperative marketing, direct marketing, APMC marketing, rural marketing, and sale to money lenders. And we also talked about defects of agricultural marketing in India: lack of storage facility, distress of sale, lack of transportation, unfortunate, unfavorable mandis. And then, you said it very clearly that these mandis are APMC mandis are never favorable to farmers, and several intermediaries, and lack of market information, and lack of organization among farmers, lack of trading, lack of institutional finance. And you also talked about remedial measures and digitization of agriculture mandis, where you have forgotten to mention about the agriculture marketing system, AgmarNet, which were able to network about when internet was not available in the country from 1998, 99 onwards up to 2008, we were able to network about 3,500 wholesale mandis, and out of 7,500. And this is done under the project called AgmarNet, Agriculture Marketing Information System Network. And this was a front runner which has had about 4,000 commodities and 2,000 varieties on market arrivals and minimum price and maximum price and nodal price, and model price on which the maximum transaction has taken place. And it's a good database. It's a big database wherein data analytics can be undertaken. And this is where I used to tell that wholesale mandis should be the price, realization, and then it is achieved at the grassroots level mandis. 7,500 wholesale mandis and about 22,000 rural mandis. The 22,000 rural mandis where the farmers go every day, and this has to be networked very effectively. Now within the 3 Farm Acts, now we have got this is a 7 mission mode project of the doubling farmers' income, and then 3 mission. The Farm Acts can facilitate 2.25 lakhs agriculture deep tech agritech startups very effectively. And so I'm very happy that your talk is it's a very illuminating and also motivating the youngsters, rural youths, to get into agriculture as a preferred option, career option, to get into that. This is where we thought that as a person who was involved in instrumental in bringing in IT in agriculture, way back in 95 onwards with the IT blueprint, 15 informatics network, and I thought that this has to come as a discipline, as an agricultural informatics. And this is the first university in India, or maybe in the whole world, to have Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, and also focused attention on Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies to launch MTech and BTech and PG Diploma in Agricultural Informatics to retrain all agriculture science graduates, non-agriculture science graduates who are all from rural areas to get into agriculture through IT in agriculture. Is a preferred option. COVID-19 situation has motivated everybody to get into agriculture. A lot of people work in various companies, work in urban areas, have come back to rural areas. They got land. And this case studies which you have mentioned can motivate them as to which model they should adopt, depending upon the natural resource accounting which they have in the particular area, village. Comprehensive agriculture resources information system is a must. Micro level planning at the village level is a must. Farm extension 4.0 is a must to get into agriculture 4.0. Adoption of industry 4.0 technologies are essential in agriculture sector wherever it is feasible. And the goal is that how to achieve one agri-tech startup in every Gram Panchayat, so that they, 14 crore farmers, more than 145 million operational holders, producing more than 400 agriculture commodities, and then livestock economy, fisheries economy, and how to apply soil health, effectively for, good, healthy food, because minerals in soil controls the metabolism of the in human and plant and animal. So soil health dictates the health of plant, dictates the health of animal, dictates the health of human populations. So why can't we have a soil health based, effective soil health based value systems? When you apply IoT, when you apply agriculture, artificial intelligence, when you apply blockchain technology, on soil health, and then that based productions, both the farmer and the consumer. So soil health, on which that this animal, plant, fodder, feed and fodder gets grown, and then you have a consumer and you have a farmer. IoT, artificial intelligence, and blockchain technology. So this itself can bring in a lot of value additions and the startups in this area. Today, many startups are not in a position to get into deep tech technology because they have not understood agricultural system effectively. They know IT, they can interpret remote sensing pictures, they can interpret big data analytics, but understanding agricultural system is very important. And agriculture science graduates, agriculture science graduates have to understand information technology very effectively. And both agriculture science curriculum and computer science curriculum, they do not see eye to eye. And in India, that agriculture is not a use case in many of the computer science department, be it in IIT, be it in NIT, be it in Central University, be it in Indian Institute of Information Technology. Whereas agriculture is a use case in quantum computing. Many other international organizations who are all working in the R&D projects in agriculture. But in India, that computer science students don't have agriculture as a use case because they wanted to go as a programmer in corporate sector. And for computer science departments in India, agriculture is not the primary area. And that is true also that many of the ICR institutions and agriculture universities and colleges, 75 agriculture universities, 100 ICR institutions, more than 450 agriculture colleges, the students don't come as a computer science experts. So that's where motivated me as an person with an MTech computer science from IIT Chennai 76, 78 batch, worked in grassroots level development during the last 35 years, motivated me to convert this as an agriculture informatics discipline. This is where that farmer can get benefited. 14 crore for farmer, the operational holders. 14 crore operational holders will be in a position to get benefited out of the information technology. That, potentials are limitless in this sector. And we can be the food bowl for the entire world. And we can give them throughout the year, because India has got 365 days sunshine and more than 125, more than 127 climatic zones. What else is not there in the country? So computer science and agriculture science have to be synergized. 4 years of computer science and 4 years of agriculture science have to be synergized into 4 years of agricultural informatics. This is essential. So I thank you very much, Professor Ashok. And today the Chancellor of the Shobhit Institute of Engineering Technology is in visiting the campus, and he told me that he wanted to join for 10 minutes, but he is not in a position to join. He conveyed his sincere thanks to you, and we'll have a separate meetings with him in later, because he has to have a sudden visit to the university campus, and he sent a message to me. And so this is an important topic and very satisfying address by you. And I will request you to get associated with the university, these two centers of excellence, to promote agricultural informatics as a discipline, to motivate to facilitate establishment of Agritech startups, Agritech and deep tech startups in a big manner in the country. So with this, I thank you very much for your participation. Wonderful talk, and your experience. You brought it, and displayed in more than 1.5 hours discussion today. And personally, I got benefited. I enriched my knowledge, and this talk will be available as an YouTube link, and also will be available in the university's website. And I request all the research scholars, faculty members of the various discipline, both the computer science and agriculture science discipline of various institutions of higher educational institution of India, to look into it and get benefit out of this catalog of the directory of this 41 edition of this webinar series. Is available for research projects, and also to develop a lot of project proposals for sponsorship at the grassroots level for development. And these two centers of excellence of the Shobhit Institute of Engineering, welcome all the whoever wants to work with us in the form of startups, and also project developers, and so on and so forth. We welcome all of you. So thank you very much, Professor Ashok. You would like to
Okay, sir.
have a this last remark after my intervention about after your address. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I have nothing much to say.
Thank you. With this, I thank all the participants of this national webinar series on doubling farmers' income by 2022, Atmanirbhar Bharat in agriculture. And I thank all the participants. And for any further inquiries, please contact Professor Moni Madaswamy, Professor Emeritus and Chairman, and farmer of the Center for Agriculture Informatics and E-Government Research Studies, and Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies. And former Director General, National Informatics Center, Government of India, New Delhi. My email ID is moni@shobhituniversity.ac.in. Thank you very much and have a nice day. We close the webinar and leave studio.